but yes, apologies for absence. First item. No. Declarations of interest. No. Okay, on to the matter for the meeting itself, which is the quotations designs for the area for consideration and approval. We've received 3 quotations. I can card for the office and get these together for us. And just if there's the start straight in, any questions?
No, only the question I asked before.
If you want to, so.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say we've had 3 different price quotations. Are we obliged to take the cheapest one, or do we go for best value?
It is at the discretion of the council to go for the best value as it deems fit. But the procurement process is detailed in one of our policies as well, which allows us license to do such.
Okay, I'm sure that's correct.
No, that's fine. One of the questions as well is lead time on these. Do you have any idea on lead time for these quotations?
Yeah, so I've got lead times for the first 2. Supplier 2 so 13 to 16 weeks to receive goods, and then obviously you've got your installation time. Supplier 1 said they would be hopeful that if we put in an order soon, they could aim for half by half term. Supplier 3 I don't have a date for.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Any other questions, comments, queries?
Are we selecting these purely based on as it is presented? With any, is there any scope for?
No, as it is, as they are presented this evening, because as part of the quotation has been presented to us. Councillor Taylor.
I did touch on this briefly with yourself when we met before, and I know Councillor Taylor said that this has been consulted on now. We're all happy with that. However, I would just like to point out that obviously the agreement with the S106 money was that we would consult properly on this. And when I spoke to you, you said obviously that had been presented to us in the report that was stated by Nick McKinnon as part of the MP subgroup for sports. And I looked at what was sent over, and it specifically said within that was their view as a small minority, and not that had been publicly consulted on. Like it's there in black and white in what was presented to us, but it was their proposals. Although they had done an online survey, but it was never advertised as a public consultation. And the survey obviously being online, then there would be open and an equal opportunity to everyone. So I personally am a little bit uneasy with this, the fact that we are now deciding a definite design to have voted, to have installed, and I don't think the public have been given an equal opportunity to give their views into this. And for the sake of us saying, you know, we'll postpone it for 2 weeks and actually advertise for 2 weeks for consultation, have people's views and make sure that box is ticked, I think for the sake of 2 weeks, we should do that, is what my view is.
It has also been noted that previous public consultation has been done as well.
Sorry, can I just clarify, because it was before my time, was the PlayLink one consulted or not?
Well, it was advertised 4 days prior to the actual event, but when Brecon Council agreed to give us the S106 money, they wanted a further consultation, so not that consultation.
Councillor Taylor.
Okay, to try and clarify this, we can go around in circles. So, you know, do we consult on all 3 options, what the public say, and then money in terms of comes in? Or are we saying, as a council, our preferred option is this, and then we consult with the public, this is what we intend to do, and that is some significant option. I'm just trying to, I hear what you say, that we should give an opportunity of these are our thoughts, this is what we would like to do, but we are mindful we want to get on this. And can I just have clarification question? In terms of evening times, you said one of them, it was half term. That's Is that half term next term?
31st of October, so it's
So-
October half term.
Okay, so in terms of timescales, subject to making quick approval, you know, there may be an option, but I agree with the principle, the public should see this, but I'm not too sure whether we open it or if it comes back and we change and people say, I like this bit, I like that bit, I don't want that. We're not going to carry on.
Thank you, sorry, yes, that's
I seem to recall there has been informal consultation with young people, with the parents, schools and so on. And basically that they would have left it for ourselves to make a final decision of what goes in, what goes out. I can see anything here that is extraordinary, that would not be appealing to children. I would propose that in fact we go ahead we go ahead with attention to the best value, assuming that every estimate is the same. They haven't taken away all they do it. I would say that you go for the best value.
Thank you. Councillor Dale, and then we have.
I won't read the whole letter out, but this is from a mum with some boys, and she said, I'm really disappointed with the parks in Attleborough. I usually drive out of Attleborough to visit far better parks with my boys in William, Great Heaven, Brecon Ash, and various others. And a few summers ago, my boys and I were at the consultation at the park about proposed plans, and we gave our input. My boys were excited about the plans, blah, 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 and she's saying nothing's happened. It's exactly the same as it was. And she's quite disgusted.
Thank you, Christian. Sorry, I said Councillor Taylor, and then we'll go to the Mr.
Yes, so I don't know how many of us also monitor the community pages, and there was quite a lot of criticism about the play areas in the town this weekend, I think, where a resident said that he had 6 children, and yet he travels to all of our neighbouring villages to use play areas. So I appreciate, yes, this is something that very much needs doing, and actually I think when this first started was actually prior to the 2019 elections. So do you know what I mean? This whole term of office hasn't seen this delivered. I appreciate that. Myself and Vera have been the two most vocal members on its delivery. I do want to see it delivered. I'm not being difficult because it's fun. I'm genuinely saying it's a lot of money for us to be spending. And I think if we're going to spend that money, we should give the entire community an equal opportunity to, that's clearly advertised as that opportunity to voice their views and opinions. If it makes the process quicker, then like Councillor Tyler suggested, us agreeing tonight, well, actually, this is our preferred quotation and design, us agreeing that, and then just saying subject to, a consultation sometime in the next, like even if it's in 3 weeks' time, we consult on it, and then hopefully, as with like that design, the public will too, and it can be towards in the head. But I just really would like to see something advertised, like the skate park, as a consultation broadly for that feedback.
If you don't mind, I'm just going to let the clerk refer to.
I just to make a comment on that. These prices, and I'm not saying that we should be in any way pressured by these. Two of these providers have put these in a little while ago now. Prices are changing all the time. If we delay this, we are going to see price increases. However, if Councillor Taylor, if the council was to decide we want to go back and consult, I would strongly suggest that you at least pick one tonight. So I can say to a supplier, we are choosing you. We just need to make sure there's no tweaks, because I think if we can't give people answers, they're not going to hold their prices much longer. So that was just a bit of feedback.
I was just wondering, have I missed any email at all? Because I've only seen one representation of what the playground's going to look like.
We should.
There were 3 separate emails sent. Sorry, councillor.
I agree with you, Bob, we've got to get cracking with this, but I think it might be prudent to allow the community one final session between, as long as it doesn't have a fundamental impact on, and yeah, we seem to be doing inclusive as well. But I think it needs to be just a choice of one.
Sorry, I'm trying to give councillors their crack at saying something, so councillor Smith.
I'm underwhelmed by the lack of inclusive equipment on the designs. It seems to be wheelchair accessible roundabout. That's about it as far as I can see. I think it's quite disappointing, given that we're trying to build something for the community, something new. And I don't know what scope there is to go back to any old suppliers and see can they tweak and adjust things. But in terms of swings, there's neither the big harness type swings or even wheelchair accessible swing. They're all in what looks to be a token gesture, have a wheelchair accessible roundabout, and that's it.
That's right, Andy, to be honest with you.
Okay, I'm quite happy to be corrected.
So certainly, I haven't got them all in front of me, but certainly the first one.
I'm actually looking at 2 open swing areas.
Yeah, so the first one, I specifically asked that we have sort of hard standing, or, matting that gave accessibility, and the swing areas, and something else, it wasn't just, yeah. No, sorry, I'm sorry about. Yeah, so this type of swing here is also considered inclusive.
Which one
Just there.
the hammock swing?
Yeah, they're also
Yeah.
considered an inclusive piece of equipment. I
Yeah.
did make it clear that we needed to have inclusive pieces. That does come under that remit.
Sorry, I'm going to allow councillor Bond to. Sorry, Debbie, I'm so sorry. Sorry.
I've only been a councillor for just over a year, and this has been talked about then, and my understanding is it's been talked about for years and years. And my understanding is that we're elected on behalf of the community to make decisions. We've got some opportunity here finally to make some decisions, and I think we need to be extremely mindful of keeping things down the line and not moving on. And I'm very concerned, one, about the financial implication delaying, because we know everything is going up in price. 2, we've already done 2 separate consultations, whether or not you want to call them official, inclusive, I don't know, but we have consulted with the public. We've had a lot of input over a lot of years from a lot of people. And I think that we can continue at fine tuning these things and go on and on and on. And I think what the public wants is a play area. And I strongly feel we need to move forward with this tonight.
Thank you for that. Councillor Bond, then councillor Buskers. Trying to give everyone a fair chance.
Yeah, I think to actually get the preferred is a good way forward. And I think we set the precedent really with Skate Wheel Park in that there was an open day, if you like, where it wasn't called, but it was an invitation to see what was possible. And the designers actually talked through their design. Now, I don't know whether in this instance the designers would be willing to have that same sort of engagement. That might be an opportunity. We could go for the preferred design, and then we could have an open forum to discuss what it is that's there. That might be a way of including the community, but also at the same time explaining what the design is.
Thank you, councillor Buskers.
What I'm concerned about, I absolutely agree, Councillor Lane, what you're saying. You open it up again, and up comes this person and that person, this organised, that organised. Oh, we changed our mind now. We don't like that particular bit in there. And it goes on and on. They're expecting a council to make a decision. We've had A lot of input coming in. That stage is over. We're expected to move on and demonstrate the council is more than a talking shop.
Well, I tell you what, because there's, I think broadly speaking, there is two train of thoughts from the conversation that I'm picking up on so far. In both instances, we would like to pick someone tonight. And then the second part of that is whether we have a further consultation day or period or evening or something as well accompanied to that. Just to get an indicative idea, if you don't mind me, in the interest of time. In the first instance, how many of you want to make a decision tonight and that's it? Okay. How many of you want to make a decision with a further consultation?
And I qualify that. There is a difference between information and consultation. I believe it should be information.
Yes.
Where you talk, this is what we've got, this is what it does, rather than any changes.
Right, well,
Yes.
on the basis that it doesn't belong in the procurement process.
Thank you.
No, I mean, it's absolutely imperative that we get things moving, but we've got the opportunity just to make some little fine tweaks, make people feel involved, but not change anything fundamentally, get the ball rolling, get the order placed. But still give people the opportunity to change the colour of things or make the changes.
So I do like the clarification that Councillor Bond has raised about the information evening. I can see Tyra.
I'm just trying to summarise where we are, quite frankly. You're right, lots of talk been happening about this for years. A lot of that has gone into previous consultations, particularly about the AMP, where, you know, people did engage enthusiastically and went out of the way to find out what people want. All that has been fed into the brief, and this is the end product. The danger is, I'm working 30 years in consultation with public projects and everything else. You can't consultation again, comes the worms over. The concept has been designed on what we've been fed through over the years in previous consultations.
Yeah.
And I would suggest that tonight we make a decision, the preferred one, based on all the information we've had and feedback from parents and children and everything else. Yes, I think it's right that if we make that decision, we perhaps on the park itself do some display boards saying, this is what we're doing. Is there something significantly missing, or is there something significantly wrong with this? Not, can we have this, can we have that? Because, you know, they've got the tip wife, which I quite like, but I'm sorry to go. That's a separate discussion. If anything else comes up that is absolutely superb idea, what's the pot for the 106? Is it 92?
96.
Sorry?
About 96.
Okay, there's other pots of money in the future. We can build on it. We've got to start somewhere. And there is opportunity if new ideas come up or what have you. We can look at that and we can add to it. The town's going to grow, we're going to get more time. So I suggest we make a recommendation. I believe it's good practice to go out online and perhaps on the field itself and promote that, because some holidays coming up and put it out there and say, this is what we're going to do, what do you think? I find it hard to believe more than 50% say we don't like it. They might come up with new ideas that we can then build on and feed into other parts as well. But we do need to move on.
Yeah, that's a pragmatic way to move. Councillor King.
I was just going to say on Roger's comment about the consultation with skate park, you're not comparing like with like. One is a sports facility and one is a play area. With a sports facility, you're consulting with people that are going to use it specifically as a sports facility. A play area is a play area. They're all different. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing right. They're just different. It would be skate park that needed to be got right because it's a sports facility.
Okay, sorry, Roger. You want to come back to that?
Yeah, I'll just come back to that. No, I was thinking about the process of informing people, and I think it was more along the lines of Councillor Taylor's idea of actually saying this is what we're doing, as opposed to the event as being this is what
Quite
it
like
is.
the idea of one of its images on a big board
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And communicating to people who go there every day to see what's happening, as well as, you know, we have got an open door. We do listen to what we was. Councillor Taylor, and then we're going to try and wrap this up in the time cut.
Yeah, so similar to what you've just said, that is what I would hope, that if we are spending a substantial amount of money on a facility for the public, that we at least give them as an entirety an opportunity to have their voices heard on what we're delivering. So we show them, and then they have an opportunity to tell us what they think of it.
So can I come back? Does that mean if they don't like it, they're going to change the design? I'm just asking a question.
It's a fair
You
question.
know, if they say, I don't like that, I want something
That's
else,
where
what
the
are you going
line,
to do?
that's where the line is got to determine as a council this evening. Is this about information, communicating information about what the council has decided to do? Or is this about keeping the options open before we commit? I personally, and I'm trying not to prejudice things, personally, I prefer the information route because it's a park. These designs are wonderful, and it is a massive improvement above and beyond anything that we've done previously. So that's my personal preference to throw it into the pot, but you know, you can see your things on this as well. But I think information, regardless, needs to be good in this. We need to demonstrate good information, communication with the community. I feel because we've had a conversation here, and in the time that we have left, not to take time away from the environment committee, can we at least in the first instance identify the preference, and then we will determine the progress. Are you happy for us to do that as a council?
May I just say one? You said you hadn't had a time schedule for the third one. At the bottom of their quote, it says 8 to 10 weeks.
Oh, there you go then.
Yeah.
There you go. So, okay. Similar to the first one, but
Yeah.
slightly longer than the two. Okay. The quotations are before you and the designs. I'm trying not to prejudice you. One jumps out at me, but what are your thoughts, feelings on this?
Sorry, just clarification. We're going to go through option 1, 2, 3 now expressing names or whatever.
I don't mind the names being said in this because it is a matter of public record. Because these are
That's fine.
the
I don't want
meeting.
to go 1, 2, 3 and I'm thinking which one.
No. Bluedick is the number 1, Whitstead is number 2, and open online playgrounds is number 3. Okay, but if you want to reference it by number or by name, I'm completely happy with that because we're doing it in an open manner. Okay, and because there's no interest from anyone here, there's no particular relevance in hiding that information. So,
Well, I'll start. I would say supply number 1.
Bluedick, if I pronounce that properly. I haven't, I apologise. Any other councillors? 1 or 3? 1 or 3? Yes.
I'll go 1 or 3.
Okay.
I'll go 1 or 3.
So this I tell you what. I tell you what. Okay, let's get an indicative idea, and I will include myself in this, just so we get an idea of numbers. Just indicative. Who would be happy with number 1 per unit? That's everyone here, I can see. Is that correct? Okay, who would be happy with number 2, Whitstead? That's conclusive. And who would be happy with number 3, online playgrounds? Okay. Are you happy that that represents the broad basis of the council? That on that, if someone's willing to propose number 1 for Bluedick, and second, that we can go to vote on that as our first plan. So Councillor Westby and Councillor Westman, good. And if we can have a show of hands. Okay, that's unanimous. Thank you. Okay, so that's the first part. So second part of this, which was part of the debate, is, I understand it, I get it's great. One, this will need to be communicated regardless. I feel that's just good practice regardless of how many of you feel in and above the communication of getting notice board of design and communicating this by the needs that we have to the community. Who feels above and beyond that, we need a consultation? Councillor Tyrrell.
Sorry, I know I'm being pedantic here, but it depends what you mean by consultation.
I'm talking about it. If I was to say consultation.
I know it does sound pedantic, but I think we do need to be mindful that some people will see it as it's open, therefore we take my views into account.
Yeah.
Rather than we're consulting you, this is what's happening. Please provide your feedback. However, the main decision to be made. However, if there are other things that come on board, we can consider in the future and beyond, but it doesn't affect the project. Semantics, I know, but
I like that because we are reviewing other parks and we don't have to do everything in one park, just one big hit, do we? It encourages the use of other parks.
I'm just thinking, let's just be careful. So I'm saying why to do it, but yes, we do need to communicate. We need to get the information out there. We need to get feedback, but not give the impression if 10 people say we don't like it, it's not going to happen because consultation is go with the majority of 20 turn up, most of them say no. We've got 5,000.
So what we're saying is the information with an openness for feedback.
Yes.
Yeah, more or less on the same line is as far as what I've learned before is that you said we're doing this. What are your thoughts? It's that sort of straightforward approach as opposed to what else do you want? So it's all the same.
I agree totally with the two councillors, and I think that yes, we need to inform the public with boards and with social media, whatever. But I do think we could word it that this is our plans for the area. We will be developing other parks in the area. We welcome your comments. So we're not actually saying
it's a quick win to get more information.
to get more information. This is what we're doing. But I would ask, is there any leeway on not cancellation, but adjustments? I mean, when would you sign the contract? And yes,
We're on this very soon. It will almost like.
but on that as well, I would suggest that if we're going to do an information blitz, that we don't just stick boards up and leave them there, forever. That we have a time limit that they're up to start with, and then as it gets nearer the time, we can put more development up. But if you leave it open for too long, you do run the risk of council time instead of people saying, well.
Okay, but I do take on board what you're saying, Councillor.
This would make me happy.
Would you like to make the summary is the information asking for feedback that will help us develop the parks of Attleborough?
Yeah, further develop, further greener space.
Further. As proposed by, shall we say, Councillor Bond and seconded by Councillor Tyrrell, whichever way we do that, because it's your joint one that you put together. Councillors, can we have a show of hands for approval on that, please? Thank you very much.
Yay!
Whoa!
Here ends the meeting.
So can I say for absolute avoidance of doubt, does this mean I can go back to Taiwan and say we would like your services?
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I will set up some information boards and you'll find